there should be a way to get out of Lagos by train, fast train. That is to say, you must be or should be able to get to Port Harcourt, for example, in 3 hours by train. That would relieve this highway immensely. Second, you should be able to fly out of Lagos without pain through your nose. Third, there should be at least 5 different highways, that is dual carriageway leaving Lagos. If we turn around now to go through Ikorodu, you spend more time trying to get out of here to Ikorodu than it will take you to get to Port Harcourt. Because this is, you create a country where leaders are so wicked. They are not thinking about you. This road, like somebody said, this road is almost 40 years old. I met this road when I first came to Lagos in 1986. To think that after selling $500 billion of oil, we cannot have 5 different roads like this, it's just a shame. You know, like some people have said, we should gather all our leaders in one place and just lock the place up and lock them away forever. You know, I don't know how to describe this, because just as we are trapped here, the possibility that we can be caught in a serious fire is there, because that tanker there is probably leaking petrol.
People know about you. Me personally, I read something about you. The question is this: the structure on grant. Some other candidates against you, they have House of Rep member, they have Senator, they have House Assembly that work on them on the grassroots. What are the mechanisms we put in place so that people on the grassroots can work for you? I mean, the structure.
We just started the party about 5 days ago, our own brand new party known as the Action Congress. And the reason why we registered our own party is because we couldn't find accommodation of ideas within the existing political parties. In fact, most of the parties in Nigeria today are owned by PDP and APC. They use them for special purposes. So we had to go and register our own party. The party is a party you can join freely for free, and you can set up your own local chapters, reach out to us, and let's change this country. We are here for a revolution to happen, you know, in this country. Yeah, that's why. Why not? We will give you information here. Those of you who are here will give you information. Yes, so that you can reach out to our state coordinators, our local government coordinators, and you too can become ambassadors of the party. What I'm saying to you today is that if we all here make the decision that we want to change this country and we convince our friends, the cabals will be gone like yesterday. There's nothing like cabal. Cabal are people who consider themselves into a nuisance because we allow them to ride roughshod 1%. So imagine that everybody that is on this road that is trapped here today, if I can take them to Ibadan with me and we go to Ibadan government house, they will rebuild Ayefele's studio before evening. But if we say let's go and protest now, the people who are suffering here would be the ones telling you, I don't want to die, you know, they won't do it. That's why this country is the way it is today.
Nobody's ready to sacrifice.
Yes. But here is someone who has come to the first question somebody asked me when we got here said, where are your bodyguards? What am I going to do with bodyguards when my conscience is there to protect? I went to Alimoso yesterday. Area boys surrounded the APC people. We told them, look, we cannot continue like this. They cannot continue to use you to intimidate us. Because everywhere you go is our people that are used against us. It's young people like us. So why don't the young people in Nigeria withdraw their services from these useless people and face their future?
Looking at Nigeria generally,
yeah.
You know, we have a lot of educated people, but we are hungry. And when there is hunger in a country or in a city, there's no how you can think properly because you are hungry. Like, take for example, I haven't eaten for 3 days now.
You haven't?
No, I'm okay. For example, an example. Yeah. So I haven't eaten for 3 days now. And somebody came, he's a politician, and he said, okay, this guy, can you vote for me? Take 1,000 naira. You know, I would like, he gave me 1,000 naira to eat. He fed me. So I rushed to eat, you understand? So I would definitely want to vote for him because of what he has just done. Meanwhile, I don't have the education to know that he was the one behind my son.
No, let me come Let me ask you this, sir. What is that in this country, sincerely speaking, okay, sorry.
So you understand what I'm trying to say? So in your own way, you know, now you are not yet a president or how do you intend to tackle that hunger. You know, if someone that is hungry cannot hear you campaigning. You understand? If I'm hungry, I'm not eating for 3 days. I can't come here. You know, it's because I'm okay. That's why I came here to ask you a question.
Before you answer that, let me ask you what is in the sense that in this country poverty has been promoted. Sorry. That among us we need to do away with poverty before we need to be liberated from poverty. That's why, because there's no way you can do that.
I'm listening to you, and it's very interesting what you are saying.
Yeah.
But the question we should ask ourselves, you know, they said the greatest form of madness is doing the same thing all over again and hoping to achieve a different result. If they fed you in 1999, and after they fed you, they ran away, your hunger got worse. They came back in 2003 and fed you with five naira, your hunger got worse. And you keep going back to the person who is abusing you, there must be something wrong with the populace. The only way to, the only way to get over the hunger is to get away with the people who you rightly identified as promoters of hunger. The hunger project in Nigeria is a project meant to keep you down so that you will not get the liberation you deserve. It's a project. And if you keep going back to the guy who's giving you 5,000, the people of Ekiti have spent the 5,000 they got, I'm sure. There's nobody left with that 5,000 in Ekiti. And they haven't even sworn in the governor that gave them the money yet. And you know that the governor who gave you 5,000, you will not hear from him again until he needs your election again. So why would you keep doing that stupid thing when you have alternatives? The reason why people like us came out is to provide the public with alternative, and we have been articulating it to the extent that some of our articulated positions and projects have even been stolen by the government, our ideas. So what does that tell you? That you have young people who can do it. But if after you leave this place today, one, you leave this traffic today, you leave this conversation we are having, and you go back to the guy who is giving you 3,000, then
you can't even have access to it.
Exactly.
Thank you. Sorry, just let me quickly dive into
Yes.
I'm very privileged. I'm happy I need to say this.
No
I have
problem.
so many of my friends that believe in you. But I have a question for you. Like, I was arguing with a guy, we were talking.
Yeah.
He was defending you. I was not really convinced about you initially, to the truth. So I started following your campaign. But I still had one issue.
Yes.
Somebody said you're just a mere activist, and being a Nigerian president is more than that. Like, for instance, I've seen people like Adam Oshiomhole used to be an activist, and we believed he might do something. But he got to the state government of Edo State and nothing really changed. So now, you being an activist, I had you even one time student union of Unilag and all.
University of Lagos.
Exactly. So, and I've seen so many activists like that style like that and enter into politics and change.
Yeah.
So now, I'm still yet to be convinced about your plans for Nigeria if you eventually become president. Because I see that you are actually in the forefront. But then, it's still, there is more to it being the president than just being an activist.
The question I want to ask is anybody going to church this morning here? Anybody who's going to church? Is there anybody who just came from a church? Very good. Are there good and bad pastors?
Yes.
Has that made you stop going to church?
No.
Exactly. So just like you have good and bad pastors, there are good and bad activists. I don't want to elaborate too much on Oshiomhole, but Oshiomhole was never an activist. For those of you who don't know his history, I know the history of all the activists in Nigeria, but the only example I'll give to you is that Oshiomhole, if he was an activist, he would have been arrested during Abacha's time. Even someone as young as me, I was arrested several times under Babangida. You cannot find any record of Oshiomhole being arrested. It was a double agent who promoted himself as an activist after the military left, and because he knew how to talk the rhetoric. But I have for you scars to show. I have evidence, I have pedigree. At the University of Lagos, you can go there. If anybody who's been to University of Lagos, they will remember what I did in 1992 at the University of Lagos, up to 1994. They will remember what we did during June 12th, right? The second question I have for you is, who was Mandela? Mandela was an activist who spent 27 years in prison. Did he become a good president in South Africa? Probably one of the best. Not only was he a good president, when he felt and knew that he was too old to run, unlike Buhari, he surrendered power. He pulled out so that South Africa could go on. and achieve his potential. Right? Who is Obama? Obama is an activist. In fact, he was ridiculed as a community organizer, which means that even my own activism was higher than his own. So, I now come back to you. The leaders of Nigeria that you say have the everything it takes, can you point to me a Nigerian leader that at this time is running for election who you think is better than us, me, or a Mogalu, or even Feladro Toye? You understand? None. No, I'm just giving an example. I don't want to measure myself alone. I'm not the only one running. There are a lot of young people running. What I'm telling you is that you have a set of recycled, useless old men who have nothing to offer you, and you are presented also with the option of young people who have articulated their position. You said you haven't seen what our plans are, but do you know that it was, yes, do you know that it was from us that they stole the idea of paying 50,000 to coppers?
Yes.
Do you know that it was from us that they stole the idea of June 12th as the new Democracy Day? You say you haven't seen the plan. Now, after we discussed that we'll be paying workers 100,000 as minimum wage, they are now negotiating with workers to pay them 66,000. But when we started the conversation around this, people abused us.
Underscore the fact that maybe there's a mole in your midst, because how come they get all?
No, because we don't hide it. No, I make it public.
Okay.
Oh, no, we make these things public.
Okay, all right.
This is just a few examples. But beyond that, we actually have written out a manifesto that you can find on our website, Showore2019, which elaborates what we call Spicer Heat. As we are speaking, all other aspirants, apart from the young aspirants, are not even campaigning. They are waiting for how they will distribute 500 naira to everybody. Yes.
I think my little level of understanding about Nigerian political system,
yes,
which everybody will agree with me.
Yes.
We have the three arms of government, we have the executive, we have the
legislative and the judicial.
And if you look at it, sometimes the legislature have always been the big challenge to the executive. So how do you intend to manage the legislative arms of government? Because sometimes when you have a very beautiful idea, where you have some decisive, because Nigeria now, you don't need just bringing out beautiful ideas. You need something. You need a strict action to take those actions. You want to mount the railway system. Because I look at the railway system, I saw my president sitting down jubilating. I was so ashamed of myself. I was in Dubai that time.
Yes.
Something that does not cut across the main populace. It doesn't cover the mass
and it's not even fast.
Yeah, so if you now want to do such a thing, how do you intend to convince or to get the Senate where you know that they might actually ask you to dip your hand into what they demand? Maybe they might be asking for a commission. Don't let me use the word bribe because I'm on the public media. I'm trying to. I know the
Nigerians, that's what they do.
Yeah, like maybe in terms of commission or whatever, or they want to have it. They want to partake in the contracting, which you know will water down
the quality of the vision.
The quality of the vision.
Yeah.
Because that's the big challenge. I believe in you and I believe in a lot of you, but that's where I like, how do you intend to undo these people? You can see what is going on when somebody has decided to sit tight, making themselves stronger than the whole Senate, making themselves stronger than the office. So how do you intend to deal with it? Because I believe that if anybody can deal with that house, manage that house, or maybe fumigate that house, or subdue their, get all the right people into that place, it will be easy flow for you.
So it is part of why we started a fresh party. Our party provides the opportunity for anybody who's got aspiration to contest for the position of Senate, House of Rep, governorship. So we can defeat these people in such a way that between now and February, our party can present majority of the Senate. If we choose to do so, we present the president, we present governors, because we have a party platform for you who wants to change the Senate. Secondly, the Senate or the judiciary or the executive is not supposed to be holding Nigeria to ransom. But when you don't have a leader that can articulate his vision, one of the things you will agree with me is that Buhari cannot articulate his vision very well. You barely understand him, even when he's speaking on national TV. So how can he even convince the populace that what he's planning to do is the right thing to do? As president of Nigeria, if a senator comes to me to ask for a bribe, I will set him up. That's what I do as Sahara reporters. I will obtain a secret recording of it or the video of you demand, or I will do it an entrapment. I mean, I will do it in such. I won't call it entrapment because that's not the right word to use. But I will ensure that that process is recorded and presented to the public. That these are the people who are preventing you from getting the fast train track that I'm trying to build between Lagos and Ibadan. As you mentioned, we are celebrating a train system from the airport to Abuja that is going at 13 miles per hour. When the one of China is going at 302 miles per hour, or 202 kilometers per hour, which means that if you have a Chinese train from Lagos to Port Harcourt, it will take you there in 2.5 hours at 302 kilometers per hour. But the one Buhari has is only a little faster than a snail. And they want us to believe that they have done the big. In fact, you saw how they came up and said that they have set up an airline. And the airline does not exist anywhere. You remember that one, the scam, they said that they have set up a brand new airline. The airline does not exist. Thank you very much. Thank you. So,
how do you intend creating jobs for them? Of course,
one of it is here, this problem. Okay. In solving this problem, we need out of Lagos another at least 3 different trunk roads that is dual carriageway that can meet at some places brand new. And we have the capability to do it. To get dual carriageway across Nigeria, which is what we plan to do, we will be hiring nothing less than 2 million Nigerians. And it doesn't have to be people who are uneducated, because you can be a road supervisor and you just wear a helmet. You can be a road designer. There are a lot of engineers in this country that have graduated that have never seen a job before. You can be an electric engineer on the highway. So many of the people that will be designing or working on road may not even go physically to the road. But there's also a lot of people who want to physically walk in the road. We have a project that we're planning to grow electricity by 4,500 megawatts through solar energy. This sunshine that you're seeing, Nigeria has the best chance of growing electricity through solar energy. 4,500. To put together the pieces alone, we need about 2 million people. That's 4 million jobs there. We want to hire 200,000 teachers, right? Over 160,000 head workers. And if we are paying you 100,000 minimum wage as a teacher, you are going to be happy for a start. Because what it means is that you can help send your brother to school as well. If your mom is sick, you can pay some of our hospital bills, and you can contribute to your community, including helping your former school to buy a chair, you know. So you create another economy around empowerment of workers. But if you talk about it to them, they say if you pay minimum wage, it's going to cause inflation, which is a lie. You see? Yes, there are any millions. There's no Nigerian politician today who is earning minimum wage. In fact, if you want to get the minimum wage to be increased, pay Nigerian politicians minimum wage. Because the minimum wage of an average Nigerian worker per month is not up to what a politician will use to buy recharge cards in 1 hour. So how do you expect a woman who is a federal government worker, who has 5 kids or 4 kids, to live on 18,000 naira per month? Whereas a senator who even doesn't go to work is earning 13.57 million naira per month as allowances. Then they have 200 million per year as constituency projects. Then they earn about $1 million naira per senator as salary. They don't touch that. And they also have other opportunities. When they are in committees, they go and do what they call oversight visits to ministries, departments, and agencies of government. That is the biggest extortion racket in Nigeria. So an average senator is taking home about 50 million naira every month. But he wants a Nigerian federal worker to be living on 18,000 naira per month. And when you say that you want to increase that to 100,000, they say that, oh, it's going to cause inflation. What stupid inflation is that? Why is it that their own earnings, their own allowances and salaries and emolument, why is it not causing inflation in Nigeria?
Is there no way to cut down these allowances?
You can't, because except you drive them out of that position. Who is going to cut it for you? They are the ones who can take the decision to cut their allowances. They will never do that.
I said now, to us, they are being loyal. They are seeing like they are. What are the assurance that after you get into this office, you are still going to remain like this? Because we have several leaders in Nigeria, and they have ended up disappointing us all. And I said, I'm not sure. Maybe this is ACC, right? AAC.
Yeah.
We are seeing different leaders. Some of them are truly PDPs, but they will divert from that party. After being elected, they go back to their real parties. What is the assurance that you are not even among one of those parties who don't want to?
Thank you.
Create another party, and another day you go back to your real party.
You at least know. I will use my introduction with the Yoruba adage. If you have to say you are Yoruba, and then by dash of you. That is to say, I have history. You may not have heard the name before, but if you do a little research, you will see that I come a long way. When it was difficult, there's a video on Facebook, the Baba Lori Facebook, Smowaleyi Abiola in 1993. So, if I didn't change, at that time, they were bribing people with 505 cars in student unions. Babangida was giving 505 to student union leaders. I rejected it. And I was happy one day, after some 20 or 10 years, I came to Nigeria and I was asking my brother for 505. I said, where is 505 these days? He said, my brother didn't even know about 505. He said, what car is that? Luckily enough, we were driving into our village in Ondo State. I saw one car that was carrying a Wedu and Ogede. They blown off the roof. They said, I said, that's 505. He said, that's what they call 505. So what I'm telling you is that if I had collected 505 in 1993, would 505 still be with me today? But nobody would have been able to see me and respect me. That's number one. Secondly, even in the university, when our colleagues were doing cultism, we were the ones who stood against it. When it was difficult, they almost killed me. When all the media people, journalists in this country are collecting brown envelopes, going to visit governors, I started a news website known as Sahara Reporters. There is nothing in this world they have not approached me with to bribe me, so that I will not be writing stories against them. And there's nobody I've not written stories against in this country. I've never wavered. So I'm just giving you my history so that you can understand what the future will be like. There's a history of commitment, a history of credibility, of integrity, and of capacity. I have led students before. I created Sahara Reporters, and it was within 12 years competing with CNN all over the world in terms of breaking news, in terms of investigative reporting. I started it with one laptop. There's nobody who is standing here who probably doesn't know Sahara Reporters. You probably must have heard about Sahara Reporters at one time or the other. Within 12 years, it was competing with CNN, it was competing with BBC. So even if I want to describe myself as an entrepreneur, you can say that it is true. But the politicians that are governing us, they have never created anything before. The one that is in the Senate as president, what is his history? They stole all the money in the bank, Society General Bank, looted it. Went from there, they looted Kwara State. But those are the kind of leaders we vote for. Because when they steal from us, they come and give us a fraction of what they stole from us. And we say, Baba Rere, Baba Ke. But it is not your money. I know that because of what other politicians have done, people are cynical. You understand? But you have to just trust people that have little history. Something you can look at. And you can go and do your own personal research. If you have any brother or family that has ever been to the University of Lagos in the 90s, you mention my name, they will tell you, yes. So what we want to let you test also is our capacity and intellect, the way we are communicating, the simplicity of how to govern a country. Yes.
Please, have you been in a political position in Nigeria before?
When you say political position, are you meaning that if I've been elected or selected? I have never tried it but I've been politically engaged.
Where?
I've been politically engaged to ensure that we had democracy in this country. Yes, I was a member of the pro-democracy movement with Gani Fawemi, Soyinka, Beko, and all of those nice people that brought democracy. I worked with them before. I have been at the forefront of fighting for good governance in this country for 12 years, using a media house that I mentioned to you earlier. I decided not to engage in political electioneering campaigns or partisanship because the parties in Nigeria, as they are today, are designed to confuse, steal, and destroy. And none of you can tell me otherwise that you have, if there's anybody here who can mention a party since 1999 that has ever done something good for him, I want to know, please, before I proceed.
Yes. Normally, I will not even waste my time here at all. If not, that somebody I knew, 88, I know the story, when mercury injection and everything. I was even surprised that you are back. They said I went around supporters. Very happy. That's why I would never give any attention to this at all. Because when I see people who go for presidency straight like that, I'm like, oh, they're just looking for clouds. You know, Momodu did it last time. He's there trying to live with their claim or having done it. Some of my colleagues will ask me, is it not that this man has also like played along with them, run a campaign, divide the vote in some zones like in the south, share the vote while you can't share the vote in the north. So I want to ask, why not strategically? Do you not want to go for a place where it is sure they are going to get this time before you aim for something else? I don't believe in all this rubbish about go to council law. That's rubbish. How many years do we have before the country goes to blazes? Even if it's local government or senator, because Dino Melaye, I don't like him. I don't believe in what he does. But even for my enemy, I learn. Dino Melaye, for whatever he say, whether it's good or bad, he's surviving there into this evil land called Nigerian Senate and start from there. Why is it this presidency that is not sure? Why don't you capture a zone, a local government, a state, and start from there? Why don't you in that area, everybody like, I want what's happening in that area. There's not like the power of images. Why don't you give them an image that everybody can see? You have a story, some of us that I read deep, that know what's happening from that, most of things happening on the ground. We can say yes. Where of you when we are doing the democracy movement? I can say yes. I know what happened in Unilag 1988. And all that. But why don't you give something to everybody can see? Why don't you take something in the political stream? There's a man called Kakware in Unipan. The man took governance one from one party. He did something that have not done. They are still copying him up till now. When you start again and sit in a party did not have crowd in that place, but he took it. Why don't you start like that? No Patomi that was doing presidency before. Patomi has finally left. Now he's going back to the state. It's captured from within. The bad guys wait when they are in minority until when they become a majority. If you want to take over, so why don't you enter? I'm not saying if you can get the big one, don't go for it too.
You have asked me a question and I will ask you a question, simple question. In all of this logical submission you made, who do you want to be your president?
Right now, we've not had a candidate for the last 15 years. And I'm not sure we can have a candidate yet, unless a miracle happens.
Exactly.
Because, Steve, I know that getting the presidency is not easy.
No, I ask you, I want to see if you have for me a candidate in your mind or an aspirant in your mind that you think.
But I told them, I said, Buhari is not a better option.
No, we have not answered. Great. Thank you, man. So if we are here debating the future of Nigeria, who would you entrust the future of Nigeria to next? Is it the people you told us you don't trust in the last 15 years, or the guy you know? Do you know how old I am?
I can imagine.
47 years old. So that tells you that I'm qualified in terms of age. I'm not even youth, in all honesty. According to the United Nations, I look youthful. Do you know my qualifications in terms of academic qualifications? Right? So, what about integrity? You said you knew in 1998. Correct. It's actually, we started around 1989 up to, but mine was 93, 94. So, integrity. You find somebody in front of you who you can vouch for. Why would you go for the people who have been destroying the argument for go to Senate? Is the argument that's born out of what they have done to us, not to believe in ourselves. They have so destroyed our self-esteem that even ourselves, we are defending the condition in which they put us, ourselves, by way of our own professing of the words. So they say to us, you are not good for anything, you are only good for councillor. And we say to ourselves, yes, we are not better than councillors. But the question I ask people is that if you want to be a councillor, you are free to be a councillor. If you want to be a senator, you are free to be a senator. But Sowore wants to be the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is what I'm aspiring for, and I'm a big dreamer.
I have a question.
You understand? And my dream is to get the presidency of Nigeria so that Nigeria can start working, so that we will not be sitting here in the last 2 hours in traffic when we should have arrived at our various destinations. The people who put you in this traffic, are they the people you want me to go and be senator to? Or you want me to go and be governor to? Exactly. So if you have somebody who can tackle them, if you trust me not to tackle them in the Senate, why don't you let me go and tackle them as the president of Nigeria? The position of the presidency of Nigeria is a very powerful position. A senator can only tackle a few people. The president can tackle everybody.